On February 16, 1923, in Thebes, Egypt, English archaeologist Howard Carter enters the sealed burial chamber of the ancient Egyptian ruler King Tutankhamun. Because the ancient Egyptians saw their pharaohs as gods, they carefully preserved their bodies after death, burying them in elaborate tombs containing rich treasures to accompany the rulers into the afterlife. In the 19th century, archaeologists from all over the world flocked to Egypt, where they uncovered a number of these tombs. Many had long ago been broken into by robbers and stripped of their riches. When Carter arrived in Egypt in 1891, he became convinced there was at least one undiscovered tomb, that of the little-known Tutankhamen, or King Tut, who lived around 1400 BC and died when he was still a teenager. Backed by a rich Brit, Lord Carnarvon, Carter searched for 5 years without success. In early 1922, Lord Carnarvon wanted to call off the search, but Carter convinced him to hold on 1 more year. In November 1922, the wait paid off, when Carter's team found steps hidden in the debris near the entrance of another tomb. The steps led to an ancient sealed doorway bearing the name Tutankhamen. When Carter and Lord Carnarvon entered the tomb's interior chambers on November 26, they were thrilled to find it virtually intact, with its treasures untouched after more than 3,000 years. The men began exploring the 4 rooms of the tomb, and on February 16, 1923, under the watchful eyes of a number of important officials, Carter opened the door to the last chamber. Inside lay a sarcophagus with 3 coffins nested inside one another. The last coffin, made of solid gold, contained the mummified body of King Tut. Among the riches found in the tomb, golden shrines, jewelry, statues, a chariot, weapons, clothing. The perfectly preserved mummy was the most valuable, as it was the first one ever to be discovered. Despite rumors that a curse would befall anyone who disturbed the tomb, its treasures were carefully catalogued, removed and included in a famous traveling exhibition called the Treasures of Tutankhamen. The exhibition's permanent home is the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. After King Tutankhamun tomb's discovery, scientists start different experiments. Turning point in the story came in when DNA tests of King Tut revealed very shocking fact about his birth. After confirming again and again, finally scientists revealed that King Tut was born in the result of a shameful act of his father and mother. His father and mother were brother and sister. His father married his sister because he wants to keep his bloodline pure. King Tut's tomb quickly became one of Egypt's top tourist attractions, welcoming as many as 4,000 tourists a day by the late 1980s. By that time, experts had grown concerned about the effects of such heavy tourism on the burial chamber. In addition to carrying in dust from their clothing and shoes, some visitors even scratched graffiti on the tomb's surfaces. Meanwhile, the flood of humid air and carbon dioxide into what had been a closed space for thousands of years had caused a large amount of what looked like microbiological or fungal growth, in the form of mysterious brown spots spreading across the walls. The walls of the chamber in which Tutankhamun was laid to rest were covered in gold. His coffin is a 3-piece sarcophagus. Tutankhamun's mummy rested in the innermost coffin, which is made of solid gold and weighs approximately 110.4 kilos, 242.9 pounds. The surface of the mask is covered in a very thin layer, approximately 30 nanometers, of 2 different alloys of gold, a lighter 18.4 karat shade for the face and neck, and 22.5 karat gold for the rest of the mask. The exhibit is insured for $26 million, and the gold alone in Tut's 2,448-pound coffin would, at today's prices, be worth about $1,700,000. The entrance to the tomb, located in the famous Valley of the Kings, had been concealed by debris, and remained hidden for 3,000 years after the pharaoh's death. Beginning in 2009, in cooperation with the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities, the Getty Conservation Institute undertook the multi-year conservation effort of King Tut's tomb. The team of conservators cleaned and treated the wall paintings, removing years of dust that had accumulated. When the conservators compared photographs of the tomb walls to historic images taken shortly after Carter's discovery, they found to their surprise that the number of brown spots on the walls had grown little since the mid-1920s. Through DNA tests and chemical analysis, they confirmed that though the spots were in fact microbiological, they were dead, and no longer spreading. Because they had already penetrated beneath the surface of the paint layer, they chose not to remove them. According to Lorinda Wong, a project specialist at the Getty, the microbiological growth is completely unique to Tut's tomb, and may have to do with the way in which he was buried. Finally, the team of conservators also constructed additional barriers to restrict direct visitor access to the tomb's walls and installed ventilation and filtration systems to help limit the effects of humidity and dust brought in by visitors. Conservation and preservation is important for the future and for this heritage and this great civilization to live forever, said Zahi Hawass, Egyptologist and former Minister of State for Antiquities in Egypt, in a statement. King Tut's tomb remained open to visitors during the project, and remains one of Egypt's most popular tourist attractions. In general, public fascination with Tut shows no sign of letting up. In 2018, new evidence emerged that the boy king, once thought to be weak and sickly, may have in fact been a soldier. Also, archaeologists confirmed that there are no secret chambers hidden in Tut's tomb, squashing hopes of finding the long-lost tomb of Nefertiti, or some other Egyptian VIP. The next project is the restoration of the outermost coffin of King Tutankhamen. The restoration of the golden coffin is expected to take 7 to 9 months. Modern forensic and medical technologies have uncovered details that provide clues as to what may have plagued King Tut before his death. DNA tests and computerized tomography (CT) exams showed he suffered from malaria, a fractured lower leg and congenital deformities associated with inbreeding that was common among Egyptian royalty.